Hello Guardians, welcome back to Destiny Tracker. My name is KillerB61 and today we are breaking down an article featuring some responses from Luke Smith on some lingering questions we all have here in the Destiny community. The article we are going to be reading from is coming from the December issue of Edge magazine. They're talking about Destiny 2 and the launch period of the game, and we have some good responses coming from Luke Smith about different things that are very interesting. Luke Smith says that more people have kind of entered the world of Destiny and then stuck around with Destiny 2. But then later he said that the flip of that is, are we bringing enough new people in with every piece of positive data? There's other stuff we should be exploring, and I think that's a good lesson. Data tells a story, and we've got to make sure we're watching that. I find this to be a very interesting quote. When we look at really how different Destiny 2 is from the original, there were a lot of changes made in favor of bringing in a new audience, a new kind of player. So, to know that the game is growing is nice, but are they new players? I really hope so, because so much is different, and not all of it's great, and it was all in the name of new players, so there better be some. Moving on, the article continues, after 10 days or so, we could see the tide turning a bit amongst the Destiny community. Players who binged on the game were worried about the longevity and shape of the endgame, fretting they'd run out of things to do. What's your response to this? And Luke Smith had a very good answer that ties into what we've heard a few times in the past. He said, "It's impossible for us to make content faster than players can consume it. It takes months to make an awesome adventure, and players will eat it in 20 minutes like a big bag of chips. This is just part of the job. We've got to get more content in the pipeline." So again, we're at that discussion over the size of the content we get and Bungie being able to keep up with our Destiny craving. We're like drug addicts. So as soon as we get a little bit, we consume it immediately, and then we're asking for more immediately after. So I can't imagine what kind of pressure that puts on Bungie, but it's clear that they are aware of our needs, and hopefully we'll see them exercise some of what they've learned from the past in their upcoming DLC, The Curse of Osiris. The next thing the article brings up is the Destiny expansions and the fun little secrets they held. They say, there are people on Reddit that believe they have found everything the game has to offer. Are they right? And Luke Smith says, I don't want to set any expectations that we've got a hidden Outbreak Prime or Black Spindle lying in the wings, but we do think of things like faction rallies and Iron Banner and stuff that comes out of the Cade chest every week. There's stuff that's going to keep showing up that people haven't found yet. Judging by the way he said he doesn't want to tell people there are exotic quests out there like the ones we've had in the past, probably is a good sign that, well, there really isn't anything else out there. Which is another bit of disappointing news to process. So much of the cool things added in Destiny 1 was forgotten, and Hidden Exotic seems to be just another victim of that. Moving on here, they talk about weapon balancing and how removing random perks has kind of changed how the Crucible plays now. Luke Smith explains how this is helping Bungie to better tune the game and judge which weapons need to be better balanced. He says it gives us a better look on the data side. When we get data back, we can now look at something like scout rifles and see what is and isn't being used. Before, if something like Clever Dragon was overrepresented in Trials of Osiris, you wouldn't really know what that meant. Now if we see something like Bad News being highly represented in the Crucible, we can look and see why, see what's making it potent, and potentially tinker with it from there. So that's interesting to think about, because a lot of people don't like having fixed perks rolls on their weapons, mostly because it removes the grind for God tier, since once we know a gun is good, you just have to hunt for that gun, not the gun and the perks, which, yeah, it took forever to get one that you wanted, and a lot of people would be left out of the magic that was that God tier roll on a party crasher. But once you got the gun, you felt like a champion, which was why we chased the next gun, was to replicate that feeling of earning and using an awesome weapon. Luke Smith did say he favors the fixed perk system, but they want to look into making different loot drops more interesting. And I agree, that would be a welcome addition to the game. Final bit is the best part of information we get. The article asks about the end credit scene we all shipped our pants about. They said, you told us earlier this year the campaign would be foreshadowing events that might not come to light till months later. Was this just about the end credit scene, or was there more in there? Luke Smith said, I talk about feature developments in a short, medium, and long-term time frame. And I think the post-credit sequence does a lot of the same. The long-term stuff is years away, while the short-term stuff is months away. The first thing the Traveler's Light touches when it leaves in that cinematic is Mercury, a place we've visited before and will again inside of our first expansion, Curse of Osiris. We're definitely calling the shots, but we're calling it across a variety of time frames. So there really isn't much to pull from this other than another hint at something greater happening, perhaps after our first year of expansions, and a bit of hype builder for the Curse of Osiris expansion. So, just to recap, it doesn't seem like there are any exotic quests out there to be found now, which is a bit of a bummer. We'd like to have been given a little hope, little bit of hope, but at least they're being straightforward with us on that. Bungie is looking into how they can create more content for us to chew through between expansions, which is very good to hear. There could possibly be some big changes being made to the way weapons work, and as far as story is concerned, there are some elements of the campaign we can look to for clues as to what to expect in the future. Guardians, that is my time for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like down at the bottom to let us know if you did, and subscribe to the channel for more guides, news, and playthroughs from DTR. Once again, my name is KillerB61. You can follow me on Twitter at Amin_Lamkita. I do try to stay active on there. Come check me out, interact with me, and what have you. Have a great day, Guardian, and I will see you in the next one.
Your strength is an inspiration to us all, Titan. Don't let your enemy take this without a fight. 30 seconds.